royal people. What's up? What's up? This is Dr. G. Welcome to another episode of Living Single podcast. I am loving this podcast. I am loving the guests. I'm learning so much. I'm getting new perspectives. I'm feeling good about what God is doing and what every guest is doing through um, the sharing of the podcast. So, this is pretty much talk therapy. I'm asking all my guests pretty much the same question, same lineup of questions, but everybody answers differently because their experience, perspective is different. So therefore, their response is going to be different. But in all of their interviews and all of their responses, I guarantee you're going to be able to receive tips and tools and nuggets um, to live by. You're going to receive some wisdom. That's why I call it talk therapy, because it's like you're listening to somebody else, talking to somebody else, or listening to them to glean some things that you can apply to your life. So look at previous episodes, stay with us, look at the ones that's yet to come, tell everybody about us. Sister, brother, kings, queens, we going international. Going international. We got a king with us today. We want you to introduce yourself, man. Tell everybody your age and tell us, a little something about yourself.
All right, hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. My name is Andrew Hilton. I'm actually a photographer. Have that as my side business. I am 34, turning 35 come September 1st. That Virgo season, always the best season. And yeah,
What season you say is the best season? I'm putting on more light. What season is the best season?
Virgo season.
Have mercy. And and it's something I love it. Everybody says their sign is this or whatever. To those who cater to the signs. And we're gonna jump into it, but I do want everybody to know, how we met, share a little history on some of the guests. Um, we had the privilege of meeting, Andrew. He is one of the bankers. I have three different financial institutions, and he's at one of them. I don't know. Are y'all able to say the name? Are we
um,
able? Yes, no.
I mean, yeah, in a way.
Mm.
I
I don't know.
mean, we
So
don't
he's at one of the
have,
financial
I think
institutions.
have any issues or anything that's going on. If anyone's heard of, I can't speak on half of, but yeah, I do currently work for Bank of America as a banker. Um, I do that. I did go to school for advertising design, but my master's in business administration. But I wanted to get back into like the financial world, so I had to take that step back from retail to get back into this. So.
Awesome, awesome. Gotcha. So, appreciate having you there. You got the right personality and customer service for that, man. Really do.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah. Listen, this whole platform is for people who are living single and then others. And as you answer your questions today from your own perspective, there's no judgment on. Something you share is probably going to echo something someone else feels. And we just also want to let everybody know, if you want to be a guest on here, you want to dive into the questions, please feel free to hit us up. It should be at the end. And we want to have you to come on in and be a guest. Um, First question. Let's go ahead and not red flags. Um, red flags are warning signs to let you know, maybe this is not the right person, or they're exhibiting some characteristics or something that uh, um, you need to pay attention to. What red flags do would you say a single person they should never ignore? They and if you've been in a situation where you've ignored some, know that as well. Well, first of all, what red flags tell people never ignore?
To never ignore. Um, mm, I would say, no, number one things is you know how every relationship you always look for loyalty and trust, right? So I would say like a red flag in the beginning, you always want to look to see if when you're asking certain questions, the certain responses that you're looking for, if they're always trying to avoid it or turn into like, a joke or, don't take it too serious with the conversation. Um, Another thing I would say, one red flag will be if you're doing a lot more than the other is, sometimes I feel like it should always be 50-50, go back and forth. So, especially if
Mhm.
you notice that there's a lot of you're doing a lot more than they are, and they're just kind of sitting back and just taking in, just, I know you got it, it's all right. Not putting any type of, not doing any type of proactivity. I would say definitely.
That's good. Mhm.
Uh,
I like that.
yeah, I'm trying to think. Had an idea
But
before.
while you thinking of that other one, I like that one. Nobody said that yet. And I've had to learn that myself just in relationships, friendship, family. They're cool with everything you're doing. They're cool with it. They'll just let you keep giving and doing, and they're never doing. That's your nature. And
Yeah,
but you got to stop and say, I don't see them taking the initiative. That's really good.
right. Yeah, because that's huge. Because the thing is, like, in the beginning, you always have someone, that's always want to show more because of the fact
Hmm.
of, "Oh, I'm trying to apply this pressure, trying to show
Hmm.
you, that more. I'm doing a lot more walking than all that talking." And but sometimes when someone gets a little too comfortable too fast, just goes to show that they're not really gonna keep anything going. Because in any relationship, I learned this because I was in a very long one, where it's that when you become comfortable, that's when things kind of fall apart because of the fact of you have to just get used to a certain way, a certain pattern. And how
Hmm.
if you got to make yourself always feel uncomfortable in a relationship no matter how long you've been together, because that random feeling um always helps keep the spark alive, I would say. It's always good to do random things here and there, but yeah, if you see someone not doing that in the beginning, and there's always that puppy dog face, but if you just don't see that in the beginning, then you know what is going to happen later on, because some people could show one thing one way, and then once they get comfortable, then their real true colors start showing.
Hmm. One of the love languages in the Five Love Language book. Have you ever heard that book before?
Yeah.
One of them is not, and I had to catch myself because I would say one of them is called acts of kindness, but it's not just called acts of kindness. You reminded me of it just now. It's called random acts of kindness,
Hmm.
and that key. Those random acts of kindness that become so natural. Considering me. That's huge. I didn't ask something at the beginning that I usually ask my guests. What is your relationship status? Single, in a relationship, married, divorced, looking, not looking?
No, I'm single. I recently just moved, so my focus is really on, just being me and just getting myself in order. Not saying I'm not open to dates or going on dates or, having conversing with anybody, but I more so main priority of my whole purpose was to get myself together.
Okay, okay. And you made mention that you was in a long relationship. How long was you in a relationship?
We were together for about 6 years on and off.
Okay, yeah, that's considered long in these days. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
really.
Can't even make it past two. So
Yeah, yeah. That's good. That's good. Okay, moving on to the next question. What is it that you think makes it hard for people who are single today? I hear a lot. People say, "Man, it's hard being single today, man." Trying to find what is it that's making it hard for people who are single.
them not allowing themselves to heal from the past or from people in general, and it doesn't even have to be in a relationship. It could have been from a situationship, could have been from a friend with benefits and all that other type of stuff. um it's always that's the one major factor, because if you don't heal and let go a bit or a piece or 50% of what that issue was from the last situation you're in, you're still going to hold on to that, and you're going to view that person next the same way if they do one thing that reminds you of what that past person did. I always feel like that's a major factor. We always hold ourselves back because we're upset with the last person did, but just because they did that doesn't mean the next person gonna do that. But if the next person does it, and like we mentioned before, those red flags, and you notice it and you talk about it, but there's no change,
Mhm.
then you just, yeah, it's understanding why you let go. But first let go of that pain and make yourself happy and smile again, because that's the thing with like serial daters. And that's what I call them, the ones that just hop from one relationship
Really
next to,
did.
yeah,
Right,
but
right,
they're not
right. I heard
learning.
that was.
Yeah, you don't really
I
learn
heard
it.
somebody make me that recent serial dater. I never knew the terminology before.
Yeah, that's real. Because I've met some people like that where they say, and I've asked, why do you jump from one relationship to the next? And they've said, it's just because something was wrong with that person. Doesn't mean it's nothing going to happen with the next person. But when do you give yourself time to get to know that next person if you're just going to quickly end up leaving and on to the next one? So that obviously means there's something you're not healing from somebody that you dated, that now you
Uh,
just feel you got to jump from the next to the next to the next to make yourself feel better.
right, right, right. Yeah. You ever found yourself dealing with a situation like that?
Um,
Having some baggage that someone else brought, something that you brought, we say baggage, that someone brought and you carried. You felt that you
yeah,
wasn't ready or
I would
either.
say from my last relationship, it took me about a good two, 2.5, almost 3 years to kind of get myself really better in healing, because it was,
Wow.
I would say it was very much I wouldn't well, in a way you would say kind of like a abusive, more of a mental emotional, because there's different factors of how you can be abusive with a person. Doesn't always have to be a physical. And it was, I would say it was done like on both ends, and then there was times where it was good and times when it was bad. But when it reached a point of where one of us was just like, okay, we can't do it, or more so I would say me, because I went and got did therapy, did stuff. And I will never say anyone to deny therapy. Just because you get therapy does not mean because you're crazy or anything wrong with that. It's just more so you want to heal yourself. And
Right.
say when
Stay
I did
healed.
that, it opened up my eyes to a lot of things. So I came to realize certain things. And then that's when they notice that, that's when they try to change,
Mhm.
but sometimes when they change a little too late.
What they call it, a little too little too late. Something is a saying, too
Yeah,
little too late.
right.
Too little too late. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
there's a
that
saying,
by the
song.
huh?
Yeah, I
Say
said,
it
yeah,
again.
there's sayings and there are songs that always mention that when it's a little, you're just a little too late. Yeah.
And it's real though, because art imitates life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's real. It's like by the time you woke up now, I've heard people that they lost some of them had a good piece about it. They don't have anything bad about it. Say the last person when they were with, they said I was a good person, messed up, finally got myself together, but they done moved on, able to see it differently now, see clearer now, but it's fake,
Right.
you know. Yeah. It's yeah, it gets to a place that you gotta um and it goes into something I asked later, but really know yourself, examine yourself. Am I ready for a relationship? There is another episode with Dr. Martin that encourage people to make sure that you watch a 70-year-old brother, 70-year-old man who married 3 different times. And he mentioned that he um realized after 3 marriages that he's not marriage material.
Mm.
Man of God and everything. He said maybe one day he will. He's now learning. He's reading this book, the 5 languages. He's like really engrossed in that. But even at his age, like nobody ever. He's like, I didn't know this. And what does that say? We need platforms like this because people
Yeah.
are not aware of certain things. And hope is that something you didn't hear in your family conversations with friends, you might be able to grab it here. people, they have dating shows and stuff that's not dealing with certain things. And sometimes people say, have the conversation, ask the question, but sometimes people say, what is the question? I always believe in conversating is not just talking, but understanding.
Right.
Yeah, understanding what the other person is saying. The let's move on to the next question. Good man, you're good. I'm loving the way you're sharing, man. Um, uh, I don't know if you're a Christian or not or a believer, but in the Bible it says that a woman is a helpmate. There's some sisters out there. Um, First of all, have you ever heard saying before?
No.
Wow, I'm loving. There was a video I said he never heard it before. That's why I'm glad I asked the question. Okay, and so the this I posed it to him way. What is the woman's role? What do you think that feminine role, the woman's role, is in a nation?
Um, Honestly, I've seen on both ends with a woman's role. So, you know, to me, I'll say like this. The way I was brought up, I would say seeing because I have, I had I was fortunate to have a mom, a dad, and I guess the other thing is like, another mom. I had a stepmom. She was around before I was born. But she did pass away, so God rest her soul. But I would say watching with my dad and my stepmom watching them, I saw her as a mother, a wife, a best friend to my dad, and they did everything kind of 50-50. So, or, if something my dad, he was, a caretaker too. So it's just like he wasn't just like the dad that went to work and came home and sat down and expected to get catered to as soon as he walked through the door. No, he would be in the kitchen cooking, making dinner, getting the laundry done as well too, cleaning up just the same as she would. I would say though, like, and I did call her, mom at the same time as well too, because the type of family that we had, I had brothers and everything like that, and of course, make that whole family aspect. But
Mhm.
watching her, she was even, if there's anything we did wrong, she, reprimanded us as well to have a talk with us. She was the backbone. She encouraged me to do things, get into college, pushed me. And then I would say with my mother, um, watching her as a single mother. I was always there for her, just helping her. So she was playing the role as mom and dad for me and my other siblings that I had. She had. So just to hear sometimes like how some women are, I guess, the helpmate, I guess, or that second person, or I would say like how it's always viewed that the man is the primary, the woman's like secondary, and everything like that. I don't ever believe in that. I don't ever see that because I had, the works of both ends, and I always saw as the woman being that partner. She's still primary, just like the man is. Because I've had women that had to carry the weight of both a man and a woman, and I had one woman that carried the weight of just a woman, or the man and woman, or they're carrying the weight together. So I saw it from both ends, and never did any one of them come across as submissive women. Um, they were very much, an aggressive woman, an alpha woman in their ways. If the right guy
Mhm.
comes along, of course, you do kind of meet them halfway of what's needed. But, they're very strong women. And, my background is Jamaican. So, the Jamaican women at that too. And the Jamaican women are always known to be strong. They don't really back down towards anything. So for me,
Come on, come on,
it's hard for me to,
come on.
I guess that's probably why I've never heard that term because I wasn't around women that were, I guess that term helpmates. They were always, the rock behind every man or the rock that, carried their family or, or whoever it was at that time being there with.
I don't know where we would be without women and them stepping up to the shoes and the roles that they have to. Um, they don't, not saying some of them don't, but for the most part, they don't run away like some of us guys do. You
Hmm.
know, from different things or whatever, and like a lot of them can't. You have situations where mothers have done things, and you're like, a mother did that or whatever to her kids and so forth. But I'm talking about on the mainstream, and I just think about the civil rights movement, think about my own life, and so much. I was thinking about this the other day, and she gonna hear me saying this when I was thinking about Nikki and how um she's she's our producer, and her tenacity, from when I first met her on set on the come up, a movie everybody need to go see on the come up that we were in, and I just started thinking about women and females and just how they just are so designed, and especially when they do it right, you know, they're phenomenal. You know, when I say do it right, let me say this: when they're mature, they got their spiritually sound, and they got balance in their life. Man, it's awesome. So when you said that about the Jamaican women, I just thought about some that I know who are assertive and who are tenacious, but they keep the family together.
Right.
Yeah,
It's always a
yeah.
huge thing.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. So I salute all your sisters. That's why we got this show so that you won't just so that you'll understand who you are and how to renew your mind when you are deciding who you're going to connect with, as well as the brothers. Make sure you stay on point with that. Man, I love it. I love it. Now we talked about the women. Men are known as providers and protectors. Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah, that's always said. That's always known, especially if you're a man child that's born into this world. That's always instilled in you from literally from birth. You're always known as you're the man. You have to protect. You have to be there. You have to be the provider. You have to work hard. You're the one that has to bring in the bread. You're the one that has to, you walk into a place. You have to protect the men, the children, the kids, or I mean, the children, the women. You have to be the one to always provide at
That
all.
protects some men too.
Yeah, like that. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
put out there, and that's always said.
What does that mean to you? And do you really see it in today's time?
I would say with today's time, no, it's changing. It's a different amount of
Mhm.
because a lot more women are stepping up more now into what we've always been brought up to know as the man's role. I would
Mhm.
say, for example, trucking. A lot before men is always known men to do trucking. Now you see a lot more women are doing
Mhm.
trucking.
Mhm.
I remember I saw that years back when I saw my first article. I was read about a woman. She started doing trucking. I was like, watch that's gonna become a trend, and all women are start doing that. Even in those CEO market roles in the global network, you see now there's CEOs and presidents as women in these companies that you think is run by a man. Um, and you see a lot more women that are taking on that opportunities. Like, okay, they're having kids without needing a man, in that type of role. So I don't always feel like just because you're a man, you have to be that provider and that protector. At the end of the day, we're all human. We all share the same ideas and same mindsets. There's always someone that's going to be in a family that's always going to be the provider and protector. That's just that person's nature. You're always going to have, it could always,
Mhm.
some families, they always refer to like, the grandmother or that auntie or, that cousin. There always is that one providing and taking care of everybody. And it's not always a man. There's you see these stars out here that are making millions of dollars, and they're like, yeah, I have to do it for my family. They're the provider. They're the protector. They're giving them these homes,
Mhm.
bodyguards. So no, it's not just the man that has to be the provider protector. It's just that's the person's being the provider protector. There should be no label on that, and that's how I view it.
Wow. Wow. Different perspective. So
Yeah.
good. I can see what you were saying. I can see what you were saying, right? And there are some women who first I was gonna ask you, are you talking about they're just boss ladies, independent ladies? But as you said, they've gotten to the place, it's more than just a boss lady, it's a lady who have taken on the role of being provider and protector. So you don't just see that just for men, and then there are men who are unable to fulfill that for whatever reason. That doesn't make him less than a man.
No, no, no.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Only way you can
There's some
allow yourself to.
only if you allow yourself to. Right. Yeah, yeah.
So
And that, huh?
I would say, I'm sorry. I was just saying it's all a choice. That's everything we do in this world is by a choice. And if you make that choice, that says something on you. So if you feel like you want to choose that, oh, I'm not being that provider, I'm not being that protector, or I'm making myself feel less than a man, that's because that was a choice in your mind that you made. And especially if that woman or that child or anybody didn't really say that to your face, or make you feel that way, but they've been there to have your back, then that's just something that's a demon that you gotta have a conversation with and control, because all it's gonna do
Mm,
is put you down.
mm, mm. Yeah, because there's some men who are disabled. They're government assistants or whatever. There's some men who came out of prison, so they can't get a job like they want to. They may have hustles and everything. It doesn't make them less than a man unless he feels that within himself and surrounding himself, believe the hype of somebody is putting that on him.
Right.
Um, yeah, I like that, and we got to know, brothers. This thing of performing to the world and what they think about you, how they feel about you, you got to trash that.
Mm,
And social media and the world will say, hey, this is what you're supposed to be like or whatever. And you know what? It'll cause somebody to commit suicide because they
mm,
feel I can't live up to that. And
yeah,
to this day, it just came dropped on me. Still wondering. I love Twitch. I don't know if you remember Twitch from the Ellen DeGeneres show.
yeah, yeah. I remember him.
I love myself some Twitch, his energy, his vibe, and everything. And after the protesting, he got real into a dark place and heavy because he saw a lot, and heard a lot. He was talking about this. And I don't know what caused him to commit suicide. Um, but I do know that a lot of men are dealing with some heavy loads on them, real pressured and being demasculated. There's so many different things that's going on, and we got to remove ourselves from that and understand how a provider and protector look for us relationship that we're in. And as long as that person we're with is satisfied with the way we provide and protect, we're good.
Right.
I like that. I like that. I said that because of what you said, and it's that vision of that. You've heard people say in relationships before, "I would not settle. I ain't settling. I ain't settling. I ain't gotta be this." And women be like, "I ain't settling," and the brother said, "Man, no, man, you gotta have it like this. You gotta be like this. I ain't settling." What does it mean to you to settle? And have you ever settled in a relationship?
um what means to me, I would say, personally, would say, when it comes to settling, I would say, if you're seeing me if you're seeing me for who I am, if you really know, to me, to settle, right, and how I look at it is those little things. If you know me by like the little stuff that you can do to, make me smile, or if I know you just by, I know when you wake up in the morning, you gotta have that cup of coffee ready, nice and hot, as soon as before you walk out that door. You're not when you wake up in the morning, to have breakfast in bed, but you like your coffee when you're right on the way, piping hot, like something like that. Saying small things like that. Me learning about you, and then you learning about me. That my favorite meal is spaghetti with meat sauce. Something small like that. But I like to have that. On a Friday night or something. Those little small things. It's like after a while you get used to knowing that person, but it's not something where it's get comfortable. But you still know those little stuff here and there that is always good to remember about a person. That's when you feel like, okay, now I can calmly start to want to settle with this person, because we have an
Mm,
understanding of our finances. We have an understanding of each other. We know the
mm,
stuff to tick each other off, where it would be open and communicative. It would be open and communicate with each other. If we walk down the street and we compliment some girl together at the same time, you know what I'm saying? That's where I know, like, that's you're my best friend. Like it always says, before any relationship, you want to be a best friend before you do the relationship. So if I can
Mhm.
be myself around you, how I'm around with my other friends, to an extent, because you just can't really give everything away. But if I can feel that comfortable, then I know that I can be like this with you for the rest of my life. So that's when I know I can start to settle. And it got to that point in my last relationship where it's just that comfortable. But to the other factors that have happened that just really destroyed us at the end of the day rather than built us. But I feel like when you really get that feeling that you could wake up to this every day and still have your own life, because you always have to have your own independent life and your life with your friends, not only just in your whole relationship, then and your person okay with that, then
Good.
why not be with that person that you can, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with my boys, I'll be back in such as time, or if things run a little over, like I say, this was what's happening, where I can be just open with you what happened. Like, yo, last night Johnny got so messed up, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? And it's like I don't feel like you want to run tell that or anything like that, but like we can have that joint conversation. Good, yeah. Then I'll be fine to settle with that person.
Dude, you went a whole other way with settle than anybody has, or than I was even intending, and I love it. It's because a lot of times settling is looked at from a negative standpoint, and you took it from a someone that I want to settle with. Wow, hell,
Yeah.
man, you was painting a picture, man. I was like,
Well, I
yeah,
mean
yeah,
that's how you really got to
yeah,
do
you
it.
painting pictures. Somebody want to do this where I said, why is he telling me some of the spaghettis and everything, whatever? But you was painting that picture, it was coming together. Somebody, and then I want to, yeah, man.
You got to get that visual, because even though we talk about it, we say things about it, but if you get that little bit into visual to give that person that idea, kind of, I'll say for photography. Whenever I'm doing, when I'm, doing my clients or having any type of, having a shoot, my pictures, at the end of the day, I want you to look at it where you can tell a story. So that's why I always try to come up with concepts of the art. So when you're done with the actual pictures, and this is something you're gonna hang up on the wall, or this is something that you're gonna post on social media, I wanted that when you're looking back at that picture, like, okay, I know I get that meeting. Say for example, like there's some shoots I've done, birthday shoots, where I've had songs in mind, so maybe the background or the way I have you pose or the way it's pictured is detailed, it gives that ambience of that song. So, whatever lyrics are being used, and you look at it like, okay, I get what you're saying. I remember in high school, I took a picture of two girls, one just whispering into the other's ear, and I put it in black and white. And, when my art teacher asked me, what was the representation of this? I said to him, well, the story I'm trying to tell is like, you always talk to your best friend and you can tell your best friend anything. You guys hold secrets. So this was like a captured moment in time of a time you guys were telling each other something funny, because the one girl was laughing while the other girl was like whispering in her ear. But it's like her eye was open looking to the side, where it's like, you could tell it's like something funny they're talking out, but she's looking out just in case anyone else is listening. But this was a moment in time that they shared with amongst each other to remember.
I love it. I love it. That's why I take pictures and I do videos too, because I want to remember those moments in time. They're gone and just being in your mind, and sometimes they begin to dwell up on your mind. But I saw that same picture that you just said, and he said, what does that picture mean? And I said, none of your business. Because that's what she's saying. She was in the ear, meaning that this is none of your business.
Right.
It's a secret. It's none of your business. And that's the thing about art. People derive so many different things from art, so many messages,
Right.
from it. Awesome, awesome. If ever you decide you want to do an art, you want me to put it behind me sometime or whatever, put it on a shirt or whatever, hey, I'll give you a shout out and I'll do it.
All right.
I'll let it be a part of a couple of the episodes. or whatever. There's this one girl that I watch, Kendra G. She's like a mentor in the field right here. I've gleaned so much from her, and confidence actually booster from her with this. But artwork, she used to have artwork behind her that someone made, and they thought it was her. It wasn't. They didn't make it, but it favored her. And for seasons, she had it right behind her, and so that's what made me think, hey, if you do that, I'll give you that shout out. I'll do it. Have some people calling for some art.
Right. Right.
You need a donation. Okay. Moving on. Next one. The quality that you would tell someone, make sure you see this in a person before you commit to a relationship with them. What would you say to that single person? Make sure you see this quality to a relationship.
The quality I best would say is that, well, it's two things in one. I would say communication and understanding. The reason why I say those at the same time is you can communicate with someone, you guys can have conversations, discuss things, but are you really understanding what I'm saying to you? As if the same question you would ask me, am I understanding what you're saying to me? And that's why I would say they both go hand in hand, because if you're not getting
Say
what I'm
that.
talking about, then nothing's really going to work out, because I'm telling you the sky is
Understand?
blue, and I keep saying it, until I turn red. But in your mind, you're taking it as if I'm saying the sky is purple. And if you're not
Mm-hmm.
understanding what I say to you, then we ain't gonna work out, because all it's gonna be is back and forth. It's gonna turn around into arguments, combat
Yes.
all the time, and that's not really
Very
what you want.
committed.
Sometimes being a
Mm-hmm.
combative, nice here and there,
What's the doing right?
but not an everyday thing. Because after a while, you get tired. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
same thing all the time, every time,
yeah.
because you feel like you're stroking your ego, or you feel better or something like that. Like, there's no I in team. If we're doing this together, we're gonna do it together.
Yes, having moments of disagreement is one thing than having a combative spirit, combative conversations all the time. And like you said, some people pride themselves for being combative because they feel like that, they up on you. You know, they might be better at that, good at that, and they like that. I don't like it in no kind of relationships. I don't like it. I don't have energy for it. I don't have time for it.
Right.
Not when I can be with someone, when I'm over here with them, and I love how pleasant we can be, and we just enjoy. And that's what happens in relationships. It's good to see how you are and how people are in just their friendships and other relationships. If you're looking at being in a relationship with them, because that's who they are.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The next question, sir. We're doing real good. You're doing real good.
Yeah.
You got me. Yeah, you got me. Woo, yeah. I know Nikki taking notes. She be taking notes on us. Um, the what are some unfair or unrealistic expectations that are put on men? And challenging what that makes it hard for that man on a sin. What are some unfair, unrealistic expectations that's put on a man? And have you had any put on you?
Um, I would say the general terms that everyone knows. I feel like, as I've always said, like we was talking earlier, the man being the provider, the man being the protector. So it's just like, every woman that comes along, or I've overheard in conversations of some women that's talked to some men, or, oh, I need my nails done, I need my hair done, I need this, I need that, I need that. He need to be paying for it. He need to want doing this. He didn't want to be paying for that. My money's my money. His money's my money. And our money's my money. It's always my. And I get it. Sometimes where you're in a relationship, the person you're with, man or the woman, want to be ahead and become, the provider for you, to help you get up off your feet or something. And I get it. Everyone reaches a hard patch, and you always have someone that's there to try to help you. But don't think just because a person does it at one time that it's gonna have to be something continuous. Now, I can understand if you end up in a relationship where whoever it is you're with, the man or the woman that said it, oh yeah, I don't want you to do nothing. I just want you to look good and I take care of all of that. I can understand because they put you on that pedestal. Now, when you so happen to losing out on that relationship or that relationship ends, some people tend to take that on to the next thing because they feel like because that's how they were treated before, that's how I need to be treated on the next. And not everybody
Mm,
has it like that.
mm-mm.
So, and personally, I've the type of person I am, when I get in a relationship, I'm dating and I'm talking to somebody, I like to do small things. I'll do something here, do something there, but I don't do it consistently in the beginning, or I don't do too much in the beginning because I don't want you to think that, oh, I'm always going to be do these big extravagant type of shit. Excuse my language. I'm sorry.
No, I got you.
Yeah, yeah, do this, all these big extravagant type of things like that, and later down the road, what more can what like I want to save some of that so when we get down the road, you see what I show you little things that I can bring to the table to show you my interest. Now, as we get further into it, that's how things start to build up. Why? Because we've built over time and that understanding with each other, and you showing me like I'm showing you that I want this to be something. So I'm going to show you, or I'm going to give you things that you deserve, not saying as a reward, but more so, showing that I'm
That's
opening
what
up.
it sounds like. You deserve this. Here you go. It's a treat.
Right, right, yeah, yeah. And I don't want to come off me saying it like that, but if we always do everything big and extraordinary and all within that first 2 weeks or that first month of talking to somebody, now their expectations like, okay, way up here, that all these years now, all you're gonna do is go bigger and bigger than that. No, because sometimes there's days where you may have the money to do it, and there's days you don't have the money to do it. And you don't want them thinking like you're gonna have all this money in the world to do stuff. So that's why it's always good to give them little increments of what you can do, but still keep the interest there because you want them to know you for who you are, not for materialistically what you can do.
So my question to that would be, is that your strategy or your game?
I wouldn't say no strategy or no game. I would say from experience because I've noticed there were times where I
Because
have given.
see, you and I say game from the aspect and strategy from that. You're like, okay, I'm dishing out this much, not too much, just enough. Like some people say, I don't call. Um, I'm gonna wait 2 days before I call. It seems like the same kind of thing
Oh,
for me, and
gotcha.
I don't know. Is it a strategy or is it a game that people play? And because of society or because of a past relationship, we're doing it. But does it come off as a strategy or game, or it says because of experience? But what do you think?
I would say it would depend on what you're getting, if what you
Oh,
want. I honestly say
right,
it'll depend on what you want from that person because there's some people I've trust me
true.
because I've heard different stories. There's some people like, oh, they put a strategy together because they just want to get this one thing out of this one person, so they know they got to do this and the third to get what they want. Then there's some that actually plan it out because maybe they have that interest in somebody, and then there's something they want to do, figure it out because at the same time, where it is, for example, when you're ready to get engaged, do you not try to plan and strategize something out so that you can surprise this person with this ring without them knowing, right? And just like when
Mhm.
you're ready to, do a surprise birthday party, you're doing a plan and strategy out to make sure everything runs smoothly. So it's the same thing as like when it comes to dating, or if you want to make that a friends with benefits, or you really just interested in that person, you set things up so you end up running into that person, and oh, what are you doing here? Oh, you go here too, blah blah blah, like all that type of stuff. So everything anybody does is a strategy or a plan, and it could be good or it could be bad, but at the end of the day, it's a plan, it's a strategy because you're trying to get into that person's um line of view to show your interest, like I'm here, I'm interested, just like how that other person would do the same thing to you.
You said it so elegantly, and I think it has to do with the intent.
Hmm.
Like you said, the intent. Doesn't want to be friends with benefits. Doesn't want to get in them draws.
Right, right.
Somebody else, yeah, somebody else. They want to create a destiny with you, and
Hmm.
and yeah. So that's good. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like that. Come on. Okay. Okay. We're down to our last two questions. You're doing really good. You're passing. You're doing really good.
I try.
Audience, what you say?
I would say no. I try because think of it, when I'm having these conversations, because I like having in-depth conversation.
Right.
I really played off of what I've learned, read, or through experience of friends, and that's one thing why I say it's always good to not have a big circle of friends, but also have a good, decent circle of friends and different type of circle of friends. I've said that
Yeah.
to one person where you want to have three groups. Well, I heard this. I forgot where it was, where I think maybe it was one of those Instagram videos or something like that. I was scrolling through, and they say, you want to have three different circles. You want to have the one circle where, everyone has that one understanding, have that one mindset. Then you want to have another circle where, okay, so you're like the smart one in the room and everyone kind of come and grasp to you to get an understanding. And then you want to have the other circle where you're I guess you say the dumb one, where you're absorbing all of that
Right.
um,
Right.
information to get in. And if you really look at it, all three of them tie together because
Mhm.
in one where you're grasping all that information is helping you grow to now where you bring it to the other circle where it's like everyone
Mhm.
comes to you for information, you could share that with them, where now you
Mhm.
have another friends that you're understanding of the same mindset, so you're feeding off of each other, helping each other in that
Mhm.
way.
Dude, damn, some nuggets right there. Yes, I heard something said like that. I put like that, but I
Mm,
like that. I like that, and it's important. Sometimes we're the big dog all the time. They say if you're the smartest one in your group all the time, I forget how they said, but you're not so smart because you don't realize that's not how your circles should roll.
exactly, that's why you got to
Yeah,
have different circles, because you got to have a different feeling, different understanding, and that's all
yeah.
combination binds into growth for you as a person.
That's what I was gonna say. That's how you grow. That's how you, as we like to say, evolve.
Yep.
You know, yeah. Some people just remain the same because they don't do that. But I like that nuggets you're dropping, man. Just being mindful of the circles that you're a part of. And because all of that pours into you and the kind of person you're going to be going into a relationship with someone. And even earlier you made mention about having your own life, having something that you're doing. Um, the importance of having your own identity outside of me.
Right.
Yeah, you made reference to that earlier. Just good on this. All right, so down to the last two. What are some things or characteristics, but what are some things that men or women do that cause them not to be looked at as a good mate, potential mate? um there in today's society, because of social media, there are a lot of things people do trying to keep up with whatever social was going on social media. It has always been with celebrities and whatever, music. And just what are your thoughts on people doing things that bring disrespect to them? They may not know it. You think you're keeping up with something, but hey, that you making someone not want to be in a relationship with you. What are some things you've seen?
I would say I've seen where everyone, of course, number one is by looks. So if they were brought up a certain way and they feel like they didn't look that standard that was set, they feel like they got to do something to their body so they actually have that look, have that type of ideal body or face or anything. But the problem is they go so hard they end up getting botched and look crazy. But somebody could be, who can I use that example? I'm trying to think of somebody. Um, I can't even think of anybody. Oh, okay.
But one thing to which
I would say not no, I'm not even gonna say that now. Yeah, I was just thinking about what I'm talking about. Well, certain artists, I would say, right? They come out, they have, they're already beautiful as
like
they are.
China, like China,
I mean, Black China was always a beautiful girl. I feel like when
right?
she
She recently got rid of the stuff that she had on, put
yeah,
on.
yeah. And when she added on all that stuff onto her body, not saying it made her ugly, but it's just like you did all this cosmetic surgery just because you're trying to keep up with, the name, the stars, the fads, what's in,
Mm-hmm.
just to make yourself stay beautiful. And now, just the ugliness of just the arguments and the fighting and all the other stuff in these TV shows, in a way kind of come across, not saying with her, but in general, girls are doing that, not, hurting how they trying to make their money, but certain things will make you come off as just, not cute. Um, I would say, like, for instance, some girls that, feel like because they're beautiful and, they have natural this, natural that, beautiful features, but have nasty attitudes with you for no reason. Like they just have that, that what they call that resting bitch face. And it's you didn't do nothing to them, or you're just saying hi to them or good morning to them, just being respectful. And they just give you that stank look. And it's just like, to me, when I see that, you're automatically ugly. You're not cute anymore. Like you just gave this nasty attitude for what? And someone's just saying good morning to you or have a great day or welcome
Right.
to where you are. You want to get that nasty attitude off bat. Now you're just ugly. So now it's just like you just ruined this beauty aura of, and that's why I feel like a lot of females are kind of ugly on the inside when they're, they could be very beautiful, but they give you this nasty attitude. And that's how you immediately know that they're spoiled in a way that they think they get everything they want because they're pretty.
Mhm.
And obviously being pretty is more so from the inside out. And if you're showing me this nasty attitude on the outside, you ain't pretty, you ain't gorgeous, and that's what
Right.
is a turn off. But then you got some guys that like that, and and then you got females that like that hood, mentality, or having different baby mamas and being cheating on you and all this other stuff because he's making that money or he's that well-known drug dealer or he got these multiple businesses. So you hang on to that because that, I'll put it this way: when City Girls came out, right? Even though we all knew about having, a dude to, make money and carry me this and, flying me out and all this other stuff, but when they came out in an era where it was an in between of, women finding themselves each other being powered by, their bodies and the BBLs and all the other type of stuff. So when they came out, it was just right around that time where it started getting huge and big. So, having them coming out talking about bags and flying out and money and my body and carrying myself, blah, 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 that now empowered those girls to now be like, yeah, I'm gonna flown out my city girls trapping. And then Megan Thee Stallion came out with her, hot girl summer. So it's just like that, all that tied into start bringing out all these girls where it's like, which is good of independency, but more so is, you know, I'm gonna carry myself to care about the money in the bags and my attitude is gonna be this, that, and the third. But if you're gonna have that independent attitude or think you the shit, then had that personality where it's like you can carry yourself as a queen respectfully and not just as this like nasty chick with just think, oh, I got all this shit and I'm the shit. And because that solely can be just going like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And oh, and to what you were saying, I know what's going on in my head, and it's like you're gorgeous to me at first, but then when I see your ghetto or and ghetto for me like loud, all kinds of stuff, whatever. I see you grouchy when you just going on about something. I see you greedy. You gotta have this whatever. These are things. I'm the G's right now. These are things that, as gorgeous as you are, it's a quick turn off. I'm like, and I watch my friendships, and people can. I think you can always watch people's friendships and see what kind of friends they have. You
Right.
know, because if they are cool with this kind of these friendship, the character, there's gonna be diversity in the friendship, but I'm talking about the core of people's character, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like how you said having diversity with people is so key. I'm like that too. I have people on all scales and levels, and that keeps me not so ignorant to society, to the world, Um, but yeah, that's good. I like those. I like that what you dropped there. And now you said something about females. So you got anything to say about the guys? Guys who appear show themselves a certain way need to turn off. Turn off. That's
I
what
would say
I was the word I was looking for
I
earlier.
would
I kept Nick.
I would say for us gentlemen, I get it. Everyone's brought up differently in different areas, different societies, different cultures. So everyone has their certain ways of how they bring themselves to treat women. But I would say the main factors is, you always want to be a gentleman. Even if you are, the hardest dude out there in the streets and you selling drugs and stuff like that, nothing wrong with being a gentleman. You can still be a gentleman at the end of the day, because just like how you treat some woman, you want no treat no grandmother like that. You don't want them treating your mother like that. And, for those who aren't fortunate enough to have like their mother, the grandmother in their ways, but think about when you end up having a little girl and you want certain people to treat your little girl with respect. That's where you want to think about it. The other thing I would say also is like, your hygiene. Just stay up on your hygiene, bro. It's nothing wrong with that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Did you say step on your hygiene, bro?
yeah, like I get it. There's some guys like, you want to grow your nails, and I get that's a thing or whatever. But like, clean your nails or something. Like wash your hands, or not even that, but like, don't carry yourself well. Like put on a decent shirt or clean your underwear. Like, or don't come out the house smelling like piss or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just respect yourself. And I only say that because I was brought up. My father, like, he was very clean cut. Like my man would have people always complimented how clean he was. Even when he's dressed regular clothes or even dressed in, his business wear. He was always known for him always having like a crease down the middle of his shirt or whatever. That's how clean, crisp he was.
Come
But
on, GQ. Come on.
yeah, so it's just, how I was brought up and watching as I'm seeing it from, my perspective of becoming a man. This is how a stand-up man should carry himself, because the attention I saw him get, and it's not nothing bad, or
Mm-hmm.
because or say like, there was always girls and like, talking to him. No, it's not like that. He just carried himself as a man,
Mm-hmm.
or what I saw what a man should be, clean cut, understanding, educated, and the thing is like, my father was born in Jamaica. He left Jamaica around when he was 12 years old. He still held on
Okay.
to those standards, but
Mm-hmm.
he's still gonna be him. He's still gonna bring up himself to the standard of where he wants to be, or he wants to be seen in the society. Because the problem is we put ourselves down by how we carry ourselves. Now, if we carry ourselves to a high standard of how we want to be and important to ourselves, that's where we end up where we're at. I remember one of my ex-girlfriends, she said to me, every time I saw you walking in the hallways, this is in high school. She said every time I saw you walk in the hallways, you always walked with your head held up high.
Mm-hmm.
You never really walked down like, scrouching or, limped over or anything like that. Like you always walked up with your back. I was like, yeah, because, I carry myself to a standard. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody, but within myself, I feel like, I'm always going to keep my head held up high, because that's all I'm always do. My famous saying is, you're stressed, I'm always trying to keep my head above water. And that's how I always
Mm-hmm.
do. I'm always just going to push through, push through, push through, because at the end of the day, something's going to happen. Something's going to work out. So going back, I would just say you always want to carry yourself, with your held up high. You want to carry yourself to a standard. You want to have yourself to a high standard for yourself, because if a woman can see that you hold yourself that up to that standard, then they would be proud to, or they would want to know more about you, because of the fact of like, okay, why do you feel like you're held up that high? What's got to make you feeling that good? And like, oh, I want a piece of that. Maybe that piece of that energy can tie onto me, and then that can help me build myself up as a woman, and you guys build each other together, or whoever you're in a relationship with.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Smell. You said a whole lot just then, but
Yeah, I know.
it made you think, who's coming outside smelling like piss? You say urine. What, dude? Yeah,
Trust me, there's
yeah.
some guys like, I'm not knocking. I don't know what everybody does for work or anything like that, but there's been times that I've seen just certain guys just come out and it's just like, did you take a bath today, or did you like, did you care to take care of yourself? And it goes for any age, like it could be young or old. I'm not even specifically just pointing out any type of age. It could be any age, from whatever
Yeah.
type of smell. Like you think you're the hardest, but then you wearing some underwear shit stains on it. Like how do you feel? Like how you walk around feel so confident like that? Like it just don't add up to me.
Yeah. Take time, iron your clothes and wrinkles and all kind of stuff. Yeah, because there's a way that you may be comfortable with or may be accepted by others. It's not going to help you, your singlehood, get a relationship going on.
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah. I like that. Maybe I was one of the guys who walked out of the bathroom last scene who didn't wash their hands. I've seen them do that.
Oh,
So
I've seen that. I've seen that before too, where some people go into the bathroom and walk out and wash their hands, and you just look at them like, really?
yeah,
That's just
okay. Yeah. I wish I had the camera on and say, y'all, do y'all see this? I seen it
yeah,
today at church. He was walking. I said, okay,
right.
I'm gonna go back to yo. What's
Tell
up?
out
What's
like,
up?
is that what we doing?
Yeah,
I
that's
like
how I'm looking at.
doing.
Yeah, really. Yes, Okay, we down to the last one. I've enjoyed this, man. I've just enjoyed the your energy. I enjoyed the different perspective. I hope y'all I know they've enjoyed this episode. Um really good. Um the last question deals with self-awareness. I'm gonna ask it a little differently. I did a panel with some men and I asked it a little differently there for the first time. And I said, I like that. Um so it's important. I'm going to say it's important that people are self-aware. It's important that if we want a successful relationship, that we are transparent about what we are aware about ourselves, our good as well as our bad. A lot of times we got a representation when we first meet somebody. Like you were saying initially, coming off this way, but is that really who they're going to be for length of time? So it's real being self-aware and being transparent about your flaws as well as those I call thumbs up and thumbs down. Share what is it about you that's a plus, you got going good, and what you need to work on because of your past relationship. You realize this is something you need to work on.
Um, I would say with me, a plus with me is that I'm always the type of person that is genuine. I'm humble. Um, I definitely try to listen, try to help find solutions. Because within my line of work as well too, we're always trying to figure out solutions for a person or anything that their issue they're going through. So I kind of like take that, and I also do that in my personal life as well too with some of my friends, or people I meet. Just try to help figure something out. Always trying to help. Um, let's see. I will say though, some things. Well, and then trust. Not saying I give out trust immediately, but if I meet you the first time and like I at least try to do something and then you show it to me in a different manner, then I see who you truly are. Yeah, like how the saying goes, shame on me once, of wait, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me third time, shame on something like that.
Right, I
But
got you. I know.
yeah, yeah, I only try to deal with it one time. One time you show me who you really are. That's you showing me your true colors, and there's no way around it. I just know how to move around you. I'm very observant. That's what I was
Mm,
very
I
observant.
know how to move around you.
Because and that's something we really need to learn as a society and people, because you take people for eventually who they are and say
Stop trying to change them. Stop trying to change them.
yeah, yeah. And that's the
Mhm.
one thing I would say as being they would say like that's a trait with Virgo that we have a problem with. We're always trying to change somebody or help somebody. But when we realize that we can't do that, because you try and try and try, and I've done it to people a lot of times where I try and try
Oh,
and
me too.
try.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
when I realized that, okay, there's nothing I can do, I learned that we may have built a good friendship, but I know that's that one flaw that you got a problem with. So I'm gonna just let you deal with it. So every time you go through it, I just don't say nothing because I've tried to help you understand and fix it before, but you still choose to make that choice. So that's where it goes back to with me and choices and that whole conversation about choices where people make choices. So if you choose to still do it, then my choice now is to not walk away when you're in that predicament because I've done everything I could to help. And so,
Right.
but I was things that I need to work on. Um, I mean, I would say like try to open up more to some people, or allow people in, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to do that because I don't want to waste my energy on people that I know it's not gonna take.
Everything you get ready to say, you say, well, but this is
Yeah, I'm very with everything in pro and con. Everything I say in pro, I got a con to it too. So it's like I'm very much like in between where, yeah, okay, I can be trustworthy, but I'm not being too trustworthy with you because I don't know you like that yet. or I can go ahead and be open with you, but I'm not gonna be too open with you because I don't know you like that yet. I don't know if you really trying to back to plan, or what your plan is, or what you're try to figure out or something here to walk around, because I'm very upfront. So if you're trying to talk to me, or I'm trying to spit game to you, like, I'm gonna let you know what it is. Like, if we get to that point in our conversation, like, okay, so what is it exactly you are looking for out of this? Because look, we're not getting any younger, and we're getting a lot older, and we want to find someone who we're gonna have an understanding with. And not saying I'm trying to give a chance to a person, but I need us to have this understanding because we're adults. We're not kids. We're not in high school. We're not in middle school where we can make these mistakes and keep trying to get no. We're getting to the point where you want to make a life with somebody, want to build a family with a person, and you never know when tomorrow's your last day. So it's just like you want to live that life with someone and make that smile before it's too late.
Yeah, yeah, that's real good. And like you say, you're not young like you used to, and the mistakes that you make now have lasting consequences. Um, are not going to be so easily to get over, not quickly to
Yeah.
get over. Yeah, it's about like weight. When you was younger, you can get rid of weight real quick. Now you
Yeah.
eat too much, you gain. It take,
Yep.
man. I
Yep.
used to could stop eating for a week, and I've been now. I got, yeah,
Yep. Exactly. Things change.
I love it.
Body changes. Society changes. The world changes. Rule changes. All we can do is change with it, or be stuck in our ways and hate nobody but ourselves because we chose to stay there. So you got to
Ooh,
change. You got to learn. You got to learn. Just like when you learn,
ooh,
everyone's different. They may have still have the same characteristics or the same personality traits or something like that by someone that you talked to before, but there's something always different about a different person in your life. And it's either you want to make that choice to kind of work with it, help to change it, or if they want to change themselves, if you're going to work with them and change it, or if you see that they just want to keep it the same, then let them keep it the same, because you can't what's the saying, you can't bring a horse to a well to drink, or something like that. This whole
you
day
take
I'm
them
trying
to
to
the,
come up with phrases, I can't remember
yeah, you
them.
can take them to the water, but you
You
can't
can't
make them
make
drink
them
it.
drink. Right,
Hmm.
right, exactly. And that goes with friends, family, relationships, situationships, whatever it may be that anyone wants to call it. But that's
Hmm.
always the thing. So it's either they're gonna want to, you know, closed mouth don't get fed.
That's right.
So, like, it's
That's
either
good.
you don't.
That's good. That's good. That's a good note to end on too, man. That good stuff right there. I this time with you, man. I've
Yeah.
enjoyed this episode. Is there anything you want to drop to the singles before you leave? Either about, well, first of all, let us know how you can be reached, any business endeavors you have going on, and then also, is there any lasting words you want to put in the atmosphere?
So, if you guys want to reach out to me, either my name is Andrew Hilton, that's my regular name. My business is Drew Hill Designs. You can find me, if you type in Google www.drewhilldesigns.com, brings you right to my photography webpage. Also, my Instagram is Drew Hill Designs. As soon as you type in Drew Hill, it'll pop up. Of course, it's DREWHYL_designs, and it'll take you to my photography page as well too. um, and I was actually just want to put out there that, as we mentioned before, life is a choice. It could be, either relationships, situationships, friendships, family, and you just got to make the right choice for yourself. Don't make that choice based off of what someone is providing for you. Base that choice of what you feel in your heart is the right choice to make, and what feels right to you. If that person gives you butterflies, that might be that person for you. But if you always get a bad feeling every time something happens, that person ain't for you. But always just live your life to the best, and you only live only once, so live it to the fullest.
Mm, mm. Butterflies or bad vibes? Which one? It is
Exactly.
what it is. Is it butterflies or is it bad
A bad
vibes?
vibes, right?
Listen, yeah. I appreciate you. We're gonna stay in touch. I thank you much. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Like I said before, make sure that you check out some of the old episodes and stay with us and watch some of the new ones. Tell everybody else about us. We're going international because this platform is needed in today's society. If you want to be a guest, please let me know. You can come on and dive into these questions. We can have a dialogue, have a conversation. It's talk therapy. But what I would like to say to you in my closing is be intentional about making your life better. Be intentional about having a better life. We out. Bless you, man. Appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. Awesome.